So I was planning for today's show, and I plan to talk about the CSC, the College Sports Commission, and what it could mean for BYU's future if they sign on with the agreement they have sent out to the schools. Well, that got superseded by a link that was sent to me by at least a handful of you Cougar fans out there. And reading this, my heart broke and said, you know what? We're getting rid of essentially our game plan, and we're talking about this today. So, Brandy Hicken wrote a story, and she put it on, I think, on Facebook originally, but it's been reposted all over the place, about her and her husband, Jared Hicken's experience at the Cincinnati game on Saturday night. Now, Jared and Brandy Hicken live in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Well, if that sounds familiar, that is the place that was shot up by a guy who crashed into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints church building in Grand Blanc, Michigan, shot members of the congregation as they were trying to flee, set fire to the building, and ultimately was killed in a police shootout. Absolutely horrific scenes. It happened literally a day after the F the Mormons chant happened at Colorado. Well, Jared and Brandy Hicken were caught in the crossfire in that incident. Their daughter was shot in the back. Jared Hicken was shot in the leg. Brandy was holding her two younger children, a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. This is close to home as a dad, so apologies for the waterworks, but she was fleeing with her kids in her arms, and she got hit with shrapnel. That is horrific. Horrific stuff that nobody should have to experience. So her and her husband, they've recovered. Their kids apparently are doing okay. So they had plans to go to this game all along. So they said, you know what? For normalcy's sake, let's go down to Cincinnati. They'd made the 4.5-hour drive from Grand Blanc, Michigan to Cincinnati, Ohio to watch this game. And they're BYU alumni, and they were at this game. And Brandy wrote in this letter that she sent to the athletic director of Cincinnati, and Cincinnati issued a statement that it feels like it was just a boilerplate carbon copy of literally every other apology, I use air quotes, apology that's been issued when fans have behaved this way against BYU and against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She writes in this story, the anxiety and fear that we have felt since that day has been debilitating. We have put in a lot of work in that short 8 weeks so we can try and feel some sort of safety and normalcy again and enjoy the things we used to do, including football games. She says that I was apprehensive when I walked down to my seat and saw the nearest exit was pretty far from me. I continued to my seat anyways. We came, we smiled, we cheered, we enjoyed ourselves, ... until University of Cincinnati fans began to chant F the Mormons. As she notes, this is not a new chant. This is not a chant that is specific to your university. This is a chant I've heard before while enjoying a football game, whether in person or on TV. It's always disheartening to hear. However, now that we Mormons have been quite literally targeted, attacked, chased, shot at, and some of us have been simply killed for being, quote, Mormon, this chant is no longer just disheartening. It's crippling, it's personal, it's unacceptable, period. She says, please, Mr. Cunningham, do not tolerate them. Remove them, speaking of the fans who were involved in this, remove them from the game. Don't let them come back. Educate them on the seriousness of their actions. Set that standard and expectation moving forward and enforce it. We are hurting badly. We just want to enjoy the things that make us happy again without the fear of being targeted and attacked for our religious beliefs, unquote. It's a long letter. I've quoted just small parts of it. I don't know the Hicken family. I don't have any direct connection to them. But I used the term grace under pressure. Remember, if you were everydayers, remember back to that Colorado game. I talked about the incident I observed at Folsom Field with that BYU fan that easily could have devolved into fisticuffs, and had another BYU fan been in that circumstance, very well could have devolved into that. But they had the grace under pressure, is the term I used, to essentially bottle it up and move along. We can't move along from this. No, it can't. It's unacceptable. I have had people in my mentions literally since Saturday night when I released my thoughts on that chant being uttered once again by a Big 12 fan base who have used literally the word F the Mormons directed at me. I had a guy in my YouTube mentions tell me that I need to leave my faith because it is a bigoted, blah, 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 like all kinds of vile, nonsense being spewed forth by people who have little to no understanding of our religious beliefs. And I expect many more are going to hop in my mentions now. I don't care. Bigotry is bigotry, and it needs to be called out. And this is what it is. It is bigotry. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are as Christian as any Christian faith worldwide. Period. End of sentence. Do not call it a cult. Do not call it whatever you want to call it. What members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints deserve, just like everybody else, is the opportunity to go and enjoy a sporting event without their faith being denigrated. To read this letter and to think about her having to flee with her kids as a dad of 3 who has to consider now what I would do in a similar circumstance, it hits really, really close to home. So I'm going to call it out for what it is. Cincinnati, thank you for your apology. Great. That's one thing. But it needs to stop. I'm calling on Brett Yormark. I'm calling on Shane Reese at BYU, the president of the university. Call it out for what it is. They're not just drunk students. They are 18-plus-year-old adults. If they can do the things that they have the rights to do, they can also have a brain cell in their brain not to chant something that wouldn't be tolerated literally for any other religion, any other creed, sect of Christianity worldwide. Why is it tolerated for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to be denigrated in that way? It cannot be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. So long as I've got an ability to speak out on it, you better dang well guarantee I'm going to do just that. Because Brandy Hicken, her children, her husband, they deserve it. The people that are shot and killed in Grand Blanc, Michigan, they didn't deserve that. Nobody, I mean nobody, deserves the dehumanization treatment that was perpetrated on them by that evil character. That's why this hits close to home for me. That's why it needs to be stopped. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. It upsets me at a really, really deep level. And reading that letter, man, it hit really, really close to home and hammered home exactly why it needs to be stamped out. And I'm talking in every facet. We can all be better. Let's all strive to be better. Let's be better to everybody around us. I am a firm believer that there are 2 great commandments that Jesus taught. Love God, love thy neighbor as thyself. If we can get back to those 2 things, this world will be a whole lot better than it is right now. We have lost sight of all of that. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you guys. I'm just saying that what happened in Cincinnati, it shouldn't have happened after Colorado. It happened in Cincinnati, and I better believe that I can't expect it to happen again, but I hope it doesn't. I hope it is a wake-up call, and it's stopped here and now, so far as I'm able to do just that. All right. I think I made my point. So, to the Hicken family, thank you for sharing that. That was powerful. And like I said, I shared a small snippet of that letter. I'm going to try and link it in the show notes so you can read it in its entirety if you have not. Because she said it was an open letter. She obviously posted on social media, but she already sent it to the athletic department at Cincinnati to get across her point. And it's valid. It's raw. It's emotional. And like I said, it hit really, really close to home for me.